Oh boy, what a great day. Another great day comes to an end. Hope you guys grab some of those 1, 2, 3 breakouts, those 2 try traps, right? Traps, baby. Big move down today. Anyways, back to work here tonight, guys. Wednesday evening, it's April 6, 2022. My name is Joseph, and as always, welcome back to your nightly newsletter. Now, if you're watching for the first time tonight, it's great to have you with me. My job tonight is to help us find the best trades, setting up for Thursday's trading session. I got a fantastic video in store for you guys and gals tonight. Charts are all ready in the background. As you can see, we got the oil, we got the Nasdaq, we got the S&P locked and loaded for tomorrow. Glad to have you back here with me on this video newsletter. Where do I begin? Big moves down today. We got oil bearish, we got Nasdaq bearish, S&P's bearish. We have a ton of great trades setting up for tomorrow. Got some pullbacks, got some breakouts, maybe some slingshots. I'm going to cover all my favorite trades in tonight's video so you can make some money tomorrow trading on your own. We'll also cover some stuff tonight to avoid tomorrow, to keep yourself out of trouble. That way you can make some money tomorrow, whether you're trading with us in the trade room or you're trading on your own out there on Thursday morning. Now, got a lot we're going to cover in this video. Before we jump in and get these charts going tonight, I'm going to cover all my favorite trades tonight. You better make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I publish this video with my best trade ideas every evening right on this YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe, set those notifications, right? Hit that little bell icon because a lot of this stuff is very time sensitive, so make sure you subscribe. If you have any questions for me, drop those questions in the comment section. Don't be shy. I do reply to all the questions myself, so drop those questions if you got them. And as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in every evening, sticking around late tonight to watch this video. Get ready for tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoy making it, hit that like button for me. I appreciate you guys supporting this YouTube channel. But enough of the intro though, will you? We're late tonight. Let's get ready for Thursday. Where's the easy money coming on Thirsty Thursday? It is Thirsty Thursday tomorrow. I'm sure some of these bears are looking for some more action here tomorrow. You know, everything is pretty much bearish. We've got, of course, I'll tell you right now, we have some really nice trades setting up for tomorrow. The S&P and the Nasdaq, first of all, got this beautiful rotation. Most likely going to get some rotation off the high here. And I'll tell you, in tonight's video, we'll talk about what we call a slingshot breakout. Slingshot breakout. We've got a bunch of potential momentum going lower here, so I would love to get some shorts going on as we go. Now, I've also got some long side trades here too, because there's a bunch of, that's a big move up, that's a big move up. So I wouldn't count the buyers out just yet on these E-minis. If there's one thing about these markets right now, you got to be ready for everything. So I'm going to make sure we talk about obviously the sell side, some breakouts going lower tomorrow, and of course we'll talk about some long side trades, maybe some reversals off those pendulum swings. Also too, oil had a monster move down. Monster relatively speaking, pretty big move. Not as, almost a $10 move down today. Anytime we see a big move in one day, there are two very common trade setups that you want to look for the following day. I'm going to cover both of those tonight as we go deeper as well. You're going to want to stick around for the crude oil tonight because oil is really setting up for some really nice trades. Probably some pretty easy money for you guys on the black gold, the Texas tea for tomorrow. Now, speaking of tomorrow though, let's make sure we grab a look here at the calendar because we've got a lot going on this week. It is the second week of the month, so we don't have a lot of major news here. Tomorrow we do have the jobless claims report at 8:30 Eastern time, but make no mistake about it. Make no mistake. Nobody cares about these jobless claims report tomorrow. Everybody cares what's Bullard going to say. What are the Fed speakers going to say? We saw what they did to these markets over the past 2 days, right? Every time these Fed speakers have opened their mouth, it's just been gasoline on this bear market this week. And so we got Bullard speaking tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time, and that's the one we know about. That's the one we know about tomorrow. We've also got Evans at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But we have a live news feed in our trade room every morning. We get together and we trade together every morning, and we are having just lots of TV interviews and lots of headlines. You can tell the markets are just loving those headlines right now coming out of the Fed speakers as they talk about getting aggressive at tapering off stimulus, raising rates, because who could have ever seen this inflation becoming a big problem? Anyways, those are the known unknowns for tomorrow. We we haven't heard any big updates from Ukraine lately. It kind of feels like we're in kind of a holding pattern right now. That is something that we're keeping an eye on. Will we hear, will there be any escalation of violence there? Again, it kind of seems like they're trying to starve each other out right now. We'll see if we hear anything new on that tomorrow. And absolutely, the Fed, and the Fed, those are definitely going to be the most important kind of known unknowns that may really shake these markets up tomorrow as well. So again, we got jobless claims tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time, but I would expect nobody to care about those right now. Everyone's listening in. Will the Fed continue? Will they talk more about what came out in the FOMC mini-minutes here this afternoon? So big day coming tomorrow. You better be excited for it tomorrow because, boy, on top of that, there's quite a bit of opportunities here on the charts here tonight. Now, let's go through each of these markets. Now, keep in mind, guys, whether you trade one of these markets or you trade all of these markets like we do in our trade room, you're going to learn something new, something interesting throughout the entire video here tonight. I'll provide different trade variations, different money-making lessons to learn as we go deeper into this video. And you know me, I like to save the best stuff to the end. I like to wrap things together to the end. So we'll talk about little tidbits every step of this video. So make sure you watch all the way through. You'll be rewarded by watching all the way through. I'll keep the best stuff for last. Let's jump into the S&P first, as always. What's going on in the S&P right now? What's the most important factor that we have on the E-mini? Really, for the most part, we're a bear market into a trading range, and we have what is kind of known as, or what we call, a rotation off the high. And so this is going to be the same thing in the Nasdaq. Nasdaq and the SP are very similar. Bear market into a range, we pop up, and now what we're expecting here now is for this market to either retest that high, because again it is a very strong breakout, and then back down, or we expect the market to rotate all the way all the way back down as we go. We have, of course, the pendulum swing. The amount above the trading range is projected down below, and that kind of gives us an idea of where this market may want to get to here, at least in the short or medium term, around that 44.26. Now, there's a lot of different ways we can trade this. For example, sellers would love to short this thing. Let me clean this up here for us here real quick. Let me clean this up here so we don't get too distracted by all the text on here. Remember, I post all of these charts on our trading blog at Sideways Markets. You can find all the links you guys need in the description of the YouTube video. I put all the charts, the actual physical copies of the charts are on the blog there if you ever want those copies to use the following day. Okay, what do the bears want to do? What do the buyers want to do? The buyers have to be careful right now. Let's face it, because, for example, if we go higher, here, this becomes a great double top reversal for the bears. Now, if the buyers, if they can hold this and get a breakout going higher, then absolutely we can, buyers can look for some breakouts going higher, but sellers would love to go back up. Remember, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we always love to see a double top into it, and then, of course, because the range is a magnet, we can sell back down again. That's one way the bears can short this. Another way the bears can short this is where it gets kind of fun when we rotate off the high here, is there's really a couple ways we can do this. For example, as we go lower here, you know me, I love channels, and so bears can look for shorts off the highs of channels. What you want to remember on this is kind of where the market wants to go, right? It wants to go down to these triangle lows, down to these major lows, and again, ideally down to that pendulum swing. One of my favorite trades in these kind of pendulums, right? These pendulum moves going lower is if it really drops, we'll oftentimes see it pop. And remember, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we can almost always grab that next leg going lower. So sellers have a lot of options here. And then let's not forget, if it ends up dropping and continuing, if we see it really break down, kind of that slingshot breakout, we got a lot more potential for a downside move there down to that 4,400 big round number, give or take 4,406 and 3/4 here. What do the buyers want to do right now? The buyers, again, they got to be careful, because if we get back down to these lows, that's going to be a hell of a strong move going lower here. So buyers can definitely look for a reversal off that low. We'll talk about kind of the best way to time that reversal. By the way, all this stuff pretty much applies to the NASDAQ as well. And again, the buyers can also be looking for a breakout going higher, but that will really take a lot of patience here. We got to see some momentum pick up here for those bulls. All right, how do we buy this? How do we sell it? Let's talk my favorite trade for tomorrow. If the trading gods are listening, if they're watching my YouTube video right now, what I hope I get for tomorrow is I hope we go up to these highs, retest this high, and then get one of those 1-2 try failures. Think about it. Once we get up those highs, buyers try once, buyers try twice. Remember, at this point, we're pretty bullish, right? At this point, it's a pretty strong move higher here. And so I do want to give those buyers 1-2 tries. Think about where their stops are right now, right? Think about where their stops are. Think about where they're, as we say in our trade room, think about where the pain is. You know what I mean? Think of where the pain is. And so 1-2 try failure, and then once we see that nice juicy signal candle closing below the moving average, right, we can grab that trade short. And then remember, your job is not done yet at that point. Now what you want to do is don't just count all your money while it's going lower. Find that new channel marked up off those lows, bring it up around that high, and then simply look for that trap. Now, I say trap, right? I like to look just above those prior swings. This could be a trap setup. It could be what I call a failure setup, and then into a pullback combination. Now, remember, where do the bears want to go at this point? The bears want to take it lower. They want to get back in, at least down to these lows here. So again, it's a 2-try failure off the high into resistance overhead, range is the magnet, and then as the market rolls over, we then I love this trade, the trap, the failure, and the pullback combination. Now, guys and gals, I know a lot of you have already taken our free trading classes. You've learned all the setups. You know all the rules, when to take them, when not. I'll tell you though, if you're here for the first time, if you're one of the few folks who haven't taken that free trading course, what I'll do is I'll put a little pop-up link here for you. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll learn all my favorite entry signals, the rules we use, and that way when I say trap into failure, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you hate missing the best trades each day, if you're sick of taking so many losses, that free trading course link is a perfect roadmap to follow. If you're serious about your trading and you want to earn daily income in these markets, I also include hundreds of examples of how we apply those setups in our daily trade room. So definitely grab that link up there. If you haven't done so already, you're going to love that free trading course. Now, how do we sell it as we go lower? How do we sell it as we go lower here? Here are let's do 3 scenarios to keep in mind as we go lower to be a seller. One of them, which I really hope we get, will be a grinder, right? A pop and a grind. You gotta love these pop and grinds, because whenever you see a pop and grind, basically pop down and we grind down, I can draw a trend line off that low, and I can bring it up around those big highs, and I can look for, again, I like to look left and look for a trap. What you want to do is you want to sell off the high of that channel. I like to make sure I'm getting above a prior swing. That's usually where the good stuff is, right? Markets love to trap above prior swings. They love that stuff. And so a trap setup, once we get above the moving average, we can look for a failure setup, right? Buyers come in, try to buy it back up. We can sell into their stops. And then again, that pullback combination as we go lower. We know where the market wants to go. We know where some targets are as we go here. That's one as we go lower here. Another one I like will be a two try trap. And we saw a bunch of these today during that big move down. Sometimes the market just kind of falls out of bed, right? So if it really tumbles here, watch for, what was it again? Are you paying attention out there yesterday? Strong move down, shallow pullback, lower low in price. What we always say, traps, baby. Yep, traps right there. Very, very high percentage trade. Strong move down, right? Gets the momentum going. The shallow pullback drives all the traders crazy because they're not getting that deep pullback that they want. The lower low in price is what confirms the move. Okay? Compared to like this one over here. Right? Because sometimes the market goes down and comes right back up again. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's V bottom. And so that lower low in price, that confirms it's not a V bottom. You know what I mean? So that's going to give that trap as we go. All right. And then I got one more. I got one more I want to cover because, again, I think this is also a very good opportunity. Let's say we do get that short on the way down. At that point, this momentum is just kill, right? It's very strong momentum. At that point now, I think there's great money to make on that short, okay, for like a breakout pullback up here. Okay, and we'll talk about some specifics on that here on the NASDAQ. We'll cover that in the NASDAQ because, again, there's going to be some overlap between the S&P and the NASDAQ. How do we buy this market right now? How would we buy it as it goes higher? You know, we'll talk about some different things in the NASDAQ here in a second as well. How do we buy it as it goes higher? Well, we know as we go higher here, I'm not trying to be a buyer there. I'm trying to be a seller off of that high. Let's talk about some breakouts. So one easy breakout would be, let's retest the high. And you've got to remember this area right here. This area is no joke. Okay, this area right here is a major prior low. You know that this area, that area, this whole area. So unless we can get a really, really good, strong breakout, and we'll talk about a couple here right now. Unless we get a good strong breakout, we really don't want to be messing around buying up into that 4,500 area. But can I retest this high? Can I pull back to the moving average? Can the buyers hold the pullback and blast going higher? Well, remember, it didn't happen here. Yeah, it didn't happen right there. One thing about ranges, one thing about reversals is it doesn't matter how strong the initial move up is. They have to actually hold that pullback. If they don't hold that pullback, what do? We let them try a couple times and we dump the sucker back down into that trading range. But if they can hold that breakout and we get that, what I call a 1, 2, 3 breakout pattern, now I can mark up that new channel, find that channel low, or should I say mark up the trend line off the high, bring it down to that low, and then remember, look left. Look for prior swings that line up right around that channel. Get underneath those prior swings. That's your trap. Here comes your seller failure, right? The bears are trying to short back down in. It's a bull market at that point. The buyers want to go back to retest the high. There's your failure. There's your pullback combination, right? Makes sense? 1, 2, 3 breakout into a first channel pullback. As we always say, first test is the best test on that one. And of course, we may see the pop and grind. We talked about the pop and grind over here. Let's say, for example, the market says, you know what, maybe we overdid this, and the market starts to grind higher, pops up, starts to grind. Sometimes you see this, easy come, easy go, right? The market makes a big move down there earlier. Maybe we do. Maybe we short squeeze and go right back higher again. I don't know. I'm not in the prediction business. I'm in the reaction business. You should be too. You should be in the reaction business. We want to take what the market gives us. The markets are random. We don't know what we're going to get. But if we do see a pop up, and of course this time around the buyers don't pull back and jump. What happens now is they pull back and they grind. Those grinds are very, very common, and they're very powerful clues, because what that's telling you is that there are sellers getting out over here. That's what that is. They don't need buyers to push that up like that. Those are sellers getting out of their positions, and that really gives us that magnet back to that high. So now we mark at the highs, we mark up that big low. You got it, right? Find those prior swings, grab that first test is the best test, get underneath prior swings, underneath the moving average, and hit them from there. One thing you want to keep in mind on this type of reversal pattern is the size of that first leg is usually the size of that third leg. Okay, right? Size of the first leg, size of the third leg. Now, oil broke that rule today. So I'm going to show you how oil kind of, nothing's ever always. You know what I mean? We never say always in trading. So they're usually first leg is third leg. Oil was a good example today of the second leg and third leg. We'll show you guys that here in a second. All right, we're looking pretty good on the E-mini. How do I buy it as it goes lower? Let's talk about that in the NASDAQ, shall we? Because the NASDAQ's pretty similar here to the S&P 500. Let's grab the NASDAQ here as we go deeper into this video right now. And I hope by now, by the way, I hope by now if you're enjoying the video, if you're learning a lot right now, I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll hit the like button. I hope you'll grab the link to this video and share this video with a friend. And also, too, I'd love to get some feedback from you in the comments section. What's the most important part of your trading? What's the biggest obstacle? What's the one thing that if you could overcome that obstacle would make everything easier? I would love to know. Drop me a comment in the comments section because I'm always looking for new ideas and new videos to make here. I'd love to know what is important for you in your trading. Okay, what's the most important thing right now on the NASDAQ? Strong move down into a range. Again, same idea. We pop up. And of course, now the bears are trying to rotate as we go lower. Most of this is pretty much identical here as we go. I want to talk about some breakouts though here on the NASDAQ. And again, pretty much everything we talked about on the S&P, you can pretty safely translate over to the NASDAQ as well. That means, of course, as we go higher, if we take out that high, there's that 1, 2, that drop back down, find that channel, hit that first test, and let her rip, selling that buyer failure and that trap failure pullback combination off the high. That also, of course, means if we go higher here, hold that pullback and jump with that 1, 2, 3 reversal pattern, we know that pattern will hold up pretty well as well. One kind of key difference on the NASDAQ, just so you can see here though, is that there is just enough room up here. There's just enough room for us to get a breakout going higher, make some money on that first pullback, and then you guessed it, right back down again. There's that 1, there's that 2, and that dump back down again. This is the same situation as the S&P, but you'll notice there's a lot more space up here. So this is definitely a scenario on the NASDAQ right now. We may be able to kind of play both sides of it, right? We go up, we pull back, the buyers hold, they blast. Whenever we see it blast like that, that much strength, we'll probably want to retest that high. So we find that new channel. We drill down. Again, I like to grab the traps, the failures, right, off that low. We just talked about this pattern. It's the same 1, 2, 3 breakout we just talked about. What I want to point out, though, on this is that you could easily make your money off the first test as the best test, run right into this major resistance, and then now the buyers come in, they go 1, 2, try failure. Think about where all their pain is. And now, of course, we can sell this sucker, dropping it back in, and then find that new channel as we go lower. This will be a great short. In fact, this might be the best possible scenario for the bears tomorrow, because that just gets them in at a place where this is a 10, 15x short off the high, and then just easy follow-up trades off of that channel. So really and again, kind of that slingshot reversals, it slingshots back down into that trading range. Really like that short and the long side. Again, I wouldn't be opposed to the long side there if we can get into it in the right location as we go higher here. Okay, let's talk about. There was a couple more things I want to talk about here on the NASDAQ. For example, we talked about the pop and the grind, find that channel and hit that trap, right? We talked about the strong move down, the shallow pullback, the lower low in price, and the traps, baby, right? We talked about that earlier, didn't we? Yeah, absolutely. We got that covered. Here's something you want to think about. And again, this also goes along with the S&P. If we get a really strong move down, take out that pendulum swing, think of this area now, okay? This area now, really this whole area right there. This area right in there. What is that price level right there? So yeah, 14,420 here in the NASDAQ. It'll be a little bit different, obviously, on the S&P. But what you want to think about is where that range is and the first couple breakouts of that trading range. These are really hot spots for us. And so those, of course, those become kind of the key areas now where we can now look for that short. So, don't be surprised here if this market really rolls over, really kind of rolls over and runs lower. We might get some shorts on the way down on that. And then all of a sudden, this thing just bounces, right? Really bounces hard. Profit taking, right? A profit taking bounce, right? Into this into this area. Again, there's money to make as the market goes lower using those patterns we talked about just a few moments ago, and again on the S&P. What I want you to remember is that this is going to be a ton of bear momentum. Think about where the underbelly of that range is. That's the area you want to focus on. And then as always, connect those lows up around those major highs. And I'll tell you now these types of strong bounces, it really all depends on kind of where we are on that trap. Most of the time, these strong bounces, they're going to get back above the moving average, at least. Wait for those buyers. This will be probably the most reliable trade here. Wait for the buyers now to try to buy it going back up in. And you know what they're going to do, right? They're going to try to buy this thing going back in. Problem is, all of that momentum makes a big, juicy bullseye right at that low. There's a big bullseye right on that low. Once those buyers commit, right? Once they think this thing is a bounce going back in, now you can go in, just drop a sell order right around those lows. I like to grab a little signal candle, right, and then drop it right back to those lows there, right? That's, again, one of my favorite trades in these kind of slingshot reversals off the high here. Really, really like that setup as we go. So making our money on the way down, right? And then waiting for that. I'm definitely not trying to buy that move down here. Okay, I'll talk about that here in a second. We'll talk about that next. Okay, but that's a really dangerous long trade. I do realize you will see V bottoms in markets, but they're not that easy to predict. They're easy in hindsight, but they're not easy to predict in real time. So wait for it to pop up and then that short right back down again. Now, I would definitely also keep in mind too, this pendulum swing, this could easily break down. So let's say, for example, we end up spitting going lower. And now we start to grind and grind and grind and grind. You know what to do with that now. Okay, forget about that pendulum swing. Pendulum who? And then just mark up that low, find that hidden channel. It'll be off one of these tops up here. I don't know what it'll be exactly right now. It'll be off one of these tops up here though. And then again, what I always do is I always go, okay, how can I line up one of these prior swings? That will usually put us just above the moving average, get that trap, the buyers come in, try to buy the pullback, trap set up with the right signal, failure set up as the buyers try to get after it, and then again, we make that leg going lower. Trap, failure, pullback combination. Where do we think the bears want to go at that point? Where's the next kind of objective for the bears at that point? We have a big low at 183. We'll call it 184. That big low right there. If they can crack that area, then we get this big monster high. I would imagine probably the big cherry on top for the bears right now, but that 13,858. 13,858. This level right here you can see is basically a matchstick at 14,000. That's a wet paper towel in a bear market that can easily torch right to the area. This 13,858 though, if this thing turns into a bloodbath tomorrow, which is probably not going to happen, back to back days of big moves. We had a big move yesterday, big move today. Generally speaking, and we'll talk about this more on the oil, but generally speaking, markets will try to consolidate after a couple big days like that. So we'll talk about that more on the oil here. Now, how do we buy this market off the low? What do you think is the best way to buy this thing off the low? I definitely think there's money to make buying this thing off the low. We talked about how to buy it as it goes higher. And we talk about how to buy it and sell it right off that high. So what if we do end up down around these lows? What I'll be looking for tomorrow, if we do end up down at these lows, there are two things you want to look for. One would be the bounce, the double bottom, and then the two-try reversal. Okay, so again, we talk about making the money going lower, making the money in the short, back to retest the low. Now, strong move down, retest, mission accomplished. Now we can safely buy this thing if it's holding that pendulum swing. Remember, this is a very different game if it goes like this, right? Breaks down all the way down. Like, it's a very different game at that point. The range is no longer a magnet in play. The range is important right now. So we roll lower. We short it on the breakout pullback. We retest those lows. Now, bears come in. They try once. Bears come in. They try twice. one of my favorite tricks on these 2-try failures is to draw a trend line off of that low. Look for a trap below that prior low. Either way you slice it, at that point the bears have got what they want. They've achieved their objective, so to speak. Now the bears come in, they try once, they try twice. All their stops are sitting right above that high. The range above us acts as a magnet. And this is usually a pretty easy trade here. Nice strong signal, closing with moving average, and we look for that jump going back higher. Now, look right, look left. Make sure there aren't any trend lines in your way. If there aren't, then we go up and we grab that first pullback. That first test is the best test. This is nothing different. This is nothing more than that same thing we talked about earlier. Go up, 1, 2, drop it back down, find that new channel, and first test. This is the same exact thing. It's just the opposite direction over here. Okay, the one thing you want to keep in mind is that you really got to be careful buying into this. Just because it's support down here doesn't mean you can trust it. It may pop and then keep on rolling as we go here. All right, there's one more scenario I want you to be ready for, and that would be if it rolls over and goes sideways down here. Okay, because that is common. That is, again, there's a good chance that if we get a big move down, we're going to start to go sideways, just like we saw here today. So let's talk about the sideways aspect of this. Let's cover that on the oil. All right, let's cover that on the oil, because the oil definitely has probably the most potential here right now. And you can see it's already pulling back here as we go into the Asian Open right now. It's about 6:15, 6:18 as I'm recording this. I'm recording it a little bit later than I'd like to have here today. I had some technology problems in the office. That's all right though. We'll push through it. What's the most important thing right now on the crude oil? I would say the most important thing right now is we're definitely bearish. There's no doubt about that. I would say the most important thing right now is the size of this move. You know, the size of the move, anytime we see a real big move in one day, doesn't matter what direction, we know the following day, we're probably, and keep in mind, again, like I said earlier, nothing is ever certain. We never say always, they'll play on words there. But we usually see either a range or some sort of really deep pullback. That's pretty common. So when a market when a market makes this big move down, right? Oftentimes people go, you know what? I'm not going to take my profit here. I'm not getting out right now. And the buyers don't want to touch it, so the market will go sideways, right? Nobody wants to get out because it's so darn bearish, but nobody dares to buy it. So the market sits there and goes sideways. A lot of times what happens though is the bears come out the following day and they go, I'm not selling way down here. They go, okay, give me something way up here. I'll sell at a better price. And so we get a deeper pullback. That's why I say when you see a big move like this, and you can already see they've already made that little wick top up there around that 98.41. But that's kind of the game plan here for tomorrow. Really got to be careful being a buyer on this market right now until we can at least get a retest of that low and then get one of those 2-try reversals off of that low here. So bears, right? Bears want to sell, as you can see, up inside our sell zone. Bears would love to sell up around that 100. What was really interesting today is how they sliced right through 100. Because 100 is like the granddaddy of all round numbers, right? Yeah, so we sliced right through it, and you notice we haven't been back to it yet. So I would think of that as being a really, really just very desirable place for sellers who weren't able to get into it, in the place they wanted it here. Also, too, remember, the big round numbers are very, very powerful right now. So we may keep going lower. This may roll right over, and we may keep seeing shorts on the way down to March's low at 92.05. And then I'll tell you, if you're a bull on the oil right now, you do not want to see what's below 92. It's pretty much all the way down to 90, 86, 85. It gets really ugly real fast because we had that big spike up when the whole pandemic thing hit, right? So this really gets very thin down there. The water gets very deep real fast as we go here. I think I know what direction we're all cheering on right now, at least for our gas pump's sake. Anyways, so how do we sell it? How do we buy it? What's the game plan here for tomorrow? You'll notice here, you can see this is a great example where, we always talk about when you have a 3-legged move, oftentimes the first leg and the third leg are symmetrical. Well, look what happened this time. Didn't happen this time, right? First leg is right there. It obviously is not. It was actually the second and third leg. So these will happen. I would say probably about 15% of the time, 10 to 15% of the time, you'll see this. It requires a very strong trend. This is relatively rare. We don't usually see that the second and third legs the same. Usually, it's first leg and third leg are going to be symmetrical. So very interesting to see that there. And it makes sense. Again, it makes sense because it was such a very strong bear move down. All right? And remember, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, not the size of the move, but anytime we see a strong move, it's almost a guarantee we retest that low. All right, what I want you to think about right now are these two pullbacks, one here and one up here. Okay, one of them will be kind of a modest pullback. The other one will be a much deeper pullback. And it's very important that you understand how to trade these two types of pullbacks in a strong trending environment. The first one's pretty easy. You can see here I marked it up by drawing a trend line off those lows. Remember, anytime a market pops and grinds down like this, just draw that trend line like that. In this case, bring it right up around these highs. And sure enough, I mean, look, right above that trap. We talk about this, right? We talk about traps, first test. They beat me to it, unfortunately, here on the video tonight. I'm a little bit too late recording it. But anyways, we'd like to get this thing go up, right? Up into this area here. Now, think about this little sequence here. We go up. The buyers now come in. They're thinking somehow we're reversing at this point, which we're definitely not yet. There's no proof of that yet. The buyers come in. They try to buy that pullback. Where are their stops? Hit them right into those stops with a failure. And then there are two follow-up trades on this. I'll talk about one of them right now. One is the pullback combination. These are very, very common, right? We go up, failure pattern, buyer failure, okay? Then into a pullback combination. We see a lot of this. We go up, buyers try, they fail into a pullback combination. Failure, pullback, failure, pullback. Pretty straightforward there. And again, we want to go back down to retest that low. What if we really pop though? Again, this is what we really hope for. If we really pop, then what? Well, I'm always telling you guys in the trade room, right? All of our students trade room, I'm always saying, okay, how's my location and how's my momentum? How's location up here? Location, fantastic. Momentum, not so great. Well, it's pretty bullish at that point. It's a pretty bold move. It's a pretty strong pullback. So when it pulls back strong like that, you got to think the buyers are going to pitch a fit. They're going to try their best. They're not going to give up without a fight here. So let them try once, let them try twice. And remember, this is where the fun starts because now all those stops are up there. Again, I've drawn a little hidden channel here off those lows, off that high up there. Again, you've got this whole area here is a very desirable spot for a seller. So we get that nice strong signal. And again, you'll learn all about the signals. I talk about that free trading class, right? Linked up in the upper right-hand corner. You'll learn all about all the signals, all the rules. You'll learn the stuff inside that free course. So again, and then we drop. Now, in a perfect world, we'll see a pullback right away, and we can grab that failure into pullback combination. What is more realistic, though, what happens more in reality is we oftentimes will roll lower. We will not get that deep. We won't get that pullback we want, and therefore we got to go in for that trap. That's usually where the best money is on these types of scenarios. Deep pullback, but let them try twice. And then again, grab the little trap. And on this one, again, remember, don't forget, if you can, find that channel. The channel is definitely not necessary, but it definitely doesn't hurt. It certainly does not hurt. It really helps out with the odds of success on that. And the target, of course, is back down to retest that low. Now, as we go higher, the buyers have a shot here, but they have to hold the pullback and they have to go. What do we call that? 1, 2, 3 reversal. What do? We mark up the high, find that channel low. We grab those traps and we lop, right? And we first test is the best test. Again, first leg, third leg is the symmetrical leg. You got to think though, that high up there, what is that, 104? You got to think there's a big bullseye back at that high if the buyers can take control. Okay? Or we pop and we grind, right? Pop and grind. You know this by now, right? We found that channel. We grab the first test. Or we strong move up. Shallow pullback. Higher high in price. What is that called? Traps, baby. It's called a two-try trap. Strong move gets momentum going. Shallow pullback, right? Shallow pullback gets it right, drives the buyers crazy. Higher high confirms that trap. Remember, you're going to want that pattern to clear well through this area right here. All right, got to make sure it clears well through that area there as we go. Okay, now, what if we go sideways here? If we go sideways here, there are, well, for the most part, there are three ways to trade a bear market into a trading range. Bear market into a range. Now, I don't know where this range will be. This range could be here. It could be, I don't know where it's going to be. It could be 95, right? For all I know. But the minute we start going sideways, and again, because of the sheer size of this move today, the idea of it going sideways at some point tomorrow, think about what happened on the Nasdaq and the S&P today. The Nasdaq and the S&P both made those big moves down overnight. And what did it do? Started chilling out, going sideways once the morning session started. That is very likely at some point tomorrow. I don't know where, but once you see it though, remember, when you see a bear market into a trading range, there are really three basic ways to trade it. One, find resistance above the range. Wait for a pullback. Eventually the sellers in this example will run out of bullets. Let that market pull back. Don't make that rookie mistake and try to predict that top. Because what's going to happen is the minute you sell this thing short, once you sell it up here, is the minute that market, which is a sick sense of humor, it'll go, watch this, guys. Let's bounce them out. And then we'll drop it right back down in. And your stop just gets hit by what? 1 or 2 ticks? I know I'm not the only person that's had my stop run like that. Unfortunately, that's part of the tuition we pay to the markets when we're a rookie. That's why I don't try to pick tops in a bear market range. I let those buyers try to run it, and then I know where their stops are, and I can use those stops as fuel to sell it back down again. Now, your job isn't over yet. Where does the market want to get to right now? It wants to take out that low, and it wants to complete the pendulum swing on the other side. Okay, here's a follow-up trade for that. Find that new channel, mark off that high, and repeat after me. First test is the best test. Grab that trap, grab that failure, and you want it ideally before we get to the other side of that trading range. Then we have our profit targets off at the pendulum swing. And this is where we start looking for really one of 4 different breakout patterns. Now we've talked about the 1, 2, 3 breakouts, the pop and grind breakouts, right? So if we can get through this pendulum swing, and again, this also goes for the S&P, this goes for the Nasdaq, because the Nasdaq has the pendulum swing, the S&P has the pendulum swing. So let's talk about some of those breakouts right now. Okay, so if we have, again, there's my range. We've got that area of resistance overhead. We wait for that pop up. Ideally, be a nice deep pullback there. Get those buyers trying. I won't spend too much time on this, right? Find that new channel, and again, hit it as we go. Pendulum swing. Let's assume the pendulum swing gets broken. Okay, pendulum swing is broken. We pop up and we run. Let's get rid of this channel here real quickly here. Right? We go up and we run into that pop and grind. Okay? These are very common when you see those slingshot breakouts, like on the S&P and the Nasdaq. We mark up that low, mark up that high. Don't hesitate on this one. Do not hesitate on this one. This is a great setup right here. And if we really get lucky, it'll come in and use that underbelly. You know what I mean? It'll use that low for that next move down, right? Trap, failure, pullback combination. Okay? Or maybe it just dumps and runs lower. Strong move down, shallow pullback, lower low in price. Traps, baby. Great one there. Or maybe we take out that low. The bears, of course, hold that pullback and they blast. 1, 2, 3, breakout. 1, 2, 3, breakout going lower. Again, I always draw them like this because this is usually where the best money is. Off the top of that channel, right above one of those prior swings. Trap, failure, pullback combo. First leg, third leg going to be your target as you go. All right? And so we've got a couple breakout patterns. We've talked about all of them throughout this video here tonight. If this market does continue going. Now, what if we don't get a range? What if this is all we get? What if it just rolls over here and keeps rolling? The same thing applies. Okay, same thing applies. Modest pullback. Okay, modest pullback. failure, pullback combination. Okay? Deep pullback. Deep pullback. Really strong pullback now. Are we a bull market yet? Is this a bull market right now? No, it's not. Why? Because how do the buyers take control? In a bear market, the buyers have to jump. Okay? That should be ingrained in your being, your brain at this point. Okay, if we have a strong bear move down, we are not buying that first pullback. We are selling that first pullback. We're waiting for those buyers to try. And again, if it's a really strong pullback, it's let those buyers try twice. Once, twice, stops are hit, right? Drop it, sell that drop, and then short that first test on the other side. All right, guys? So again, it might just keep on grinding down like this. Good, right? If I'm by me, I don't care. Neither should you, right? Once it pops up, though, shallow pullback, right? Shallow pullback, it'll be a failure. Deep pullback, it'll be a 2-try failure. Watch that trading range. Watch those really nice pops up, 2 tries and back down. And who knows, right? Maybe we do get a reversal tomorrow. Who knows? Anything is possible. We go down, we retest that low, 1, 2, back up. We talked about this in the Nasdaq. Same double bottom 2-try reversal that applies to the S&P. It applies to Nasdaq. It'll apply here to the crude oil as well. All right. Watch out for that range though at some point tomorrow. Great job tonight, guys. Great job. I'm proud of you for watching all the way through. We've prepped the game plan. We've planned our trades. Now the hard part. This is the fun stuff. Now the hard part comes. The hard part is going out and trading our plan without making mental mistakes, without chasing the market tomorrow, without shooting ourselves in the foot and making bad mental mistakes. Guys, my trade room is designed for new traders trying to learn and earn, for experienced traders who just can't quite get the pieces together or they're making too many mental mistakes. I'll tell you, if you're sick and tired of missing the best moves of the day, if you're not making enough money in your trading, or you're taking too many just losses every day, or maybe you're like I was. You know, when I was a new trader, I had horrible anxiety trading by myself because I just didn't know what I was doing and I was losing money every week. Whatever the reason is, you're going to love my trade room. We have a great video class. We take the free course up a bunch of notches up. If you like these videos, you'll love the trade room, and I would love to have you there trading with us, learning and earning and having fun with us there every morning at the opening bell. I'll put all the membership links. I'll put all the trade room information, all the free course stuff. Again, I do post all the charts on the trading blog. That'll be in the description as well. Please don't be afraid to call the office. I know I talk fast on these videos, but I'd be more than happy to slow things down, make sure you have all the tools you need, get the office set up, get the computer set up, and get you registered so you're ready for tomorrow's trading session. Don't be afraid, again, to drop me a comment in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and please copy the link to this video and share with a friend. One of the great things about trading is the well never goes dry. The more people know about it, the better these strategies work. Guys and gals, that's it for me now. I've taken up too much of your time. Get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I will see you tomorrow morning for Thirsty Thursday in our trade room. If not, you better come back and see me tomorrow night because we're not done yet. We'll get ready for Friday's trading session. I'll see you guys tomorrow night if I don't see you guys tomorrow morning in the trade room. All right, guys, as always, be well, be nice to each other, and be here next time, will ya? Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.